Hello everyone, it's Linda Ockwell-Jenner here, co-founder of the Small Business Community Network with another SBCN Perspectives. And here I have right in front of me Steve Bentley, my good friend from Northern
How you
River
doing?
Financial. How am I doing? Had a really busy week. Yeah, really busy week.
Okay.
And
What does that mean to you?
a busy week for
What is,
me.
yeah, absolutely.
So, I am the co-founder of the Small Business Community Network, and I'm the president of Motivational Steps, a business consulting organization across Canada. So a busy week for me could be this morning, for instance, I was up at 5 a.m. I'm
Oh
not going to
boy.
say coach, and I'm not a coach. I'm a business consultant, so I was doing some workshops for some clients in the UK.
hmm
So there's
I
a
think that's one of the things too, is you have to deal with the time differential a
yeah.
lot more, don't you?
Yeah. So for me, 5 o'clock is perfect. For them, it's perfect. So it works out really good. So that would involve actually, getting together on Skype or something like Skype, Zoom or something like that, and doing a workshop. Other days I could be working on something for the Small Business Community Network. I could be, like we're going to be doing in a couple of days, working on the quiz for the SBCN Social.
Be fair. Be
Be fair.
nice.
Um,
It's always interesting where you guys come up with your ideas.
we we rack our brains. For motivational steps in particular, I love to write. I'm always writing articles, writing blogs. I blog for some organisations. I love social media. I'm called the social sweetheart. For the SBCN, I do the same kind of thing, but I do it all
hmm
myself. I have an admin in the UK that takes care of a lot of motivational steps stuff, which leaves me free to do some of the fun stuff. But I mean, the reality is I love what I do. So people think I'm never doing any work because I'm always smiling.
Well, I think a lot of people know you for the SBCN, but I don't know enough people know you, at least through our circles, for what you really do for people with respect to motivational steps and a little bit of the background and truly the consulting and the mentorship you do with people through your company.
Well, it's funny because today I was posting on social media some of the first keynotes I ever did 17, 18 years ago for local organisations.
Mm.
Sunnybrook, the hospital where I had my cancer treatment, as a brand new shiny motivational speaker, I was speaking at in Sunnybrook in Toronto, one of their speaker series, and I wasn't sure who was in the audience because in those days I was all new and I didn't ask questions, and it was doctors and nurses and health professionals, and it was so amazing for me to come back to an organisation that had helped me with cancer and to be
hmm
telling my story. Now it's a little bit different. Um, Organisations, America, Canada, not so much Canada now, but in Europe, they will engage me to speak at conferences to do with various topics, branding, digital technology, the digital transformation, health and wellness, and small business. And I just love to get up on the stage and talk because I'm a chatterbox.
Well, I think it comes naturally to you, right? There's so many speakers who you don't like to listen to, but I think when you're sharing your life experiences and what you've built and why you've built it and the challenges you've had in life with both being a single mom and also dealing with several illnesses and cancers, it's motivating to a lot of people. So I think the doctors and nurses at Sunnybrook is an example. They hear the human side of it a little more than just dealing with the
Yeah,
technical side of
yeah.
it. So I think that natural stage presence is there because you like to give back.
I'm a conversationalist. I have a conversation with
hmm
people. I tried very early on. Motivational steps came first, and then the SBCN 3 years later. And I tried my best, and I managed it for many years to keep the two brands separate, so I wouldn't confuse people. But the two brands have come together because of my networking skill set. I love to network. It's built me many relationships of trust, which built me many referrals, clients, and stuff like that. So now people know me for the two businesses, but I do try and keep them separate because when you're running two different businesses, even though there are some things the same, people will get confused. Like people come along to the SBC and say, "Can you teach me how to be a motivational speaker?" And I go, "No, no, no. That's not what the SBCN does." So it's difficult having the two brands sometimes.
Yeah, and I think we deal with that too because of a personal family company of real estate, but it's a little more private where yours are both right out there at the same time. So I guess that does become something you always got to be balancing too. But it's amazing watching how they've sort of come closer. They're independent, but they kind of share in some respects in terms of the mentoring, the coaching
They
side.
do.
So
Mentoring is very, very important to me. Like you, I give back here locally and I mentor. I actually get paid for mentoring for Motivational Steps, which is nice because I have bills to pay like everybody else. Uh, and I haven't been to college, haven't been to university, didn't like high school. Everything I do and I share with people is intuition and things I've done myself and been successful for. And so I'm
So
kind of
how would you
different.
describe your active clientele? I mean, where do you draw your clients from? I mean, how do you actually bring them into motivational
Now,
steps?
well, years ago, I would literally locally talk to anybody who would listen to me, meet as many people as possible,
Hmm.
and just talk about motivational steps. And they wanted to help me. People wanted to help me. I got my first paid keynote after just a year of being in business, which was amazing to me. So now speakers bureaus will get me speaking engagements. As for my business consulting clients, it's mostly referrals now, word of mouth. And I've been so blessed. I've won a couple of awards for motivational steps for consulting and stuff like that. And once you've reached the peak where people think you are successful or you look like you're successful, more people want to jump on the bandwagon, don't they? And be
They
around
do.
you.
They do. Because you've demonstrated your abilities, you've demonstrated your success.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that certainly has been important to you too is being an author, not only just
Oh,
blogging and writing articles, but having written 3 books. I
yeah.
mean, that certainly
I
is a
love it.
great way of being able to share what you're able to provide for people.
I have had a problem this year. I've had what you might call writer's block, and I can pinpoint exactly why. We had a family wedding, my daughter. A lot goes along with that. And to be honest, work is nice, business is nice, but my family will always come first. And so I just couldn't sit myself down. So I've got, we are finishing work early, myself and my husband Dave, for Christmas, and I'm going to be sitting down working on a book, and Dave's going to be doing some techie stuff, and that's when we're in our element, really, doing things that, just for us. It's nice having clients, is it? But just something that we dearly love to do.
So, can you give us any hints on that new book, or is it all totally closed off until you're ready to share?
I did give you some hints actually, so I'm
Oh,
glad you
were they
forgot.
subtle? Because they run right over my head, maybe.
I'll give you a hint. It's something I'm very good at, and people keep asking me to help them with it. And it's one of my biggest things for motivational steps I'm asked to speak about, or my clients come to me. Most of my clients, there would be no more than, say, 500
Hmm.
employees in an
Hmm.
organization, but I would not be able to consult to 500 employees. So most of my clients come from the larger organizations, but say the sales team, say there's a sales team of 30 to 40 people, or there's a social media team of 30 to 40 people. That is about, my size. So the large organizations come to me and say, we want help with our sales, we want help with our social media, we want help with our branding. So I've given you a lot of clues there, Steve.
Sure. It's for everybody that's listening too. But I think what you just identified too is in terms of your business, having found a niche in terms of the type of groups that you're wanting to work with and the
Yeah.
size of groups, because I think we all have to know who our clients are and what the best client demographics we work with, because it's important to concentrate your time on where you can be the most effective.
I guess so. But in my early days, I was so desperate for clients. I just wanted everybody to get me to speak at their conferences. And I have to say this to people listening, basically people can smell desperation. And the minute that I backed off and I started to think about this logically, who am I? Nobody knows who I am. I haven't got a brand. So I did all those things. Prove
Hmm.
your worth. You've got to prove I'm not offering anything as tangible as you, Steve. You've got this financial skill set. Really, I'm offering me and my brand
Hmm.
as my skill set. It's not as
Hmm.
tangible. So you have to do your due diligence and work your way up slowly. got my own TV show now, and I've got this wonderful host called Steve Bentley, who I love to bits.
I should meet him someday.
Yeah, and I call it my show, but really it's our show. Um,
Sure.
I have goals. You've got goals. We've all got goals. And one day I knew I wanted to reach a wider audience, and I'd love a show like Ellen. I'd love a show where I can chat more to the guests and have
And
really.
give away money and gifts.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah, it's
amazing.
Christmas coming up, by the way.
So that is my next goal, to go even bigger and get an even bigger TV slot, and I'll take you with me, Steve.
Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't
There
it
we
be
go.
amazing? Wouldn't it be amazing? So yeah, Motivational Steps, I'm very proud of it. I love what I do. I never feel like I'm doing any work, and having the chance to do a podcast with people like you, or a video with people like you, really makes my day, because you make it easy for me.
And another testament too is 15 years for the Small Business Community Network. It's amazing, and it's such a warm group of people that you fostered a very good climate for people to get to know people and to get introduced to people, because that's how relationships start. And that's what I say to people about the group. It's not about lead generation. It's about getting to know people who are peers, who are in the same business. It doesn't matter. It all is on a personal basis, and that's how you develop those relationships.
But
So
people are passing referrals to each other. People are working together, and
but it's naturally though, right?
You would say organic, yeah. And the
Yeah.
nicest thing, like, we were all at the same event the other day, weren't we, Chef D? And I guess, yeah, apart from two people, it was all SBCN members. We seem to all meet in the same places and help each other and talk to each other, and just like each other. And I think that's rare today, to actually like a group of people and want to be around them a lot. So yeah, we're very proud of it. Dave does a lot of the techie work for the SBCN, and I actually talk to people who want to be members, or I mentor members along with you, one of our lovely sponsors. And I don't know about you, but I think it's a fun job to do. I really do, helping people grow the network and grow the brand and grow the business. And we have fun parties, don't we?
Well, I think that's maybe one of the popular parts of after our formal meetings every month. We like to socialize. It's not just a networking meeting. It's actually getting out and having some time and spending time together. As you mentioned, like the other day, we had an impromptu get together at somebody's house, and we do that on a fairly frequently basis, and it's even the Coffee Connect you have every Thursday, right? Where it doesn't matter if you remember or not. Come out and have a conversation, learn about the group, and it's a great, organic. I'm going to use that word.
Yeah, I love it.
Good organic ability to get people to get introduced to the networking.
I will say, though, that it is difficult when people say to me, they've got two businesses, they're building two brands, and I say, just build the business that's going to at least pay some bills first, and keep the other one on the side, because you will confuse your clients and people you network with if you're trying to push two businesses at the same time. I had a gap of 3 years when Motivational Steps was up and running, so I was able to work with Dave on the SBCN, but my prime business is Motivational Steps. And the SBCN, we put a lot of work into it, but basically that's how I got started, just by talking people to death and getting on that stage and saying, this is my story, or this is what I've done, and you can do it too.
Speaking of stories, how are we doing for time?
We're doing really, really well, Steve. We've kept to our limit tonight. Our producer will be very happy.
Well, sure. I'm sure he will be. But, it's been a great opportunity to get a chance to have a chat with you about who you are outside of SBC, and get a little more informed about Motivational Steps, and maybe the upcoming book you gave us some hints about.
Okay, Steve. So we'll see each other next week. Have a lovely night.